Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father, to His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha Kodash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well. Coming back at you with another lesson. This is going to be going into Ezekiel. All right, this is something that Ezekiel went through. Is, the one thing that we got to have in this truth is we have to understand that many of our loved ones are going to pass on to the spiritual world. All right. And many of us have already lost loved ones. Okay. Especially me, when I came into this truth. Before I came into this truth, I lost a lot of brothers and so on and so forth. You lose a lot of family members. You do lose a lot of loved ones when it comes to death. Okay. So just understand that they're in the spiritual realm with Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, because the Lord's the one that collects all spirits whenever we pass on. So the one thing that you got to keep in mind is when you come into this truth, you got to expect these things to happen. All right. It's the same thing that Ezekiel had to go through, is losing his loved ones. All right. He lost his wife. The Lord took his wife from him, man. All right. And this is something that we have to go through in this truth. We have to realize that, we're going to lose our loved ones, but we're not going to lose them forever. Eventually, we're going to see them again. We already know this. So we'll get into that. So we're going to go to Ezekiel chapter 24 and 15. So this is something that Ezekiel went through. All right. He lost his wife. Okay. Let's get into that. Ezekiel. We'll pull that scripture up now. Ezekiel 24 and 15. So we're going to go to Ezekiel 24 and 15. This is Ezekiel chapter 24 and 15. We got to go, see? So it says, the death of Ezekiel's wife is a sign. So this is something that we have to go through. All right, us brothers and you few sisters of Israel listening in and doing the right thing. We're going to have to go through deaths, man. This is something that you can't stop. This is something that the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, at the end of the day, when he wants an individual to come to the spiritual world, we can't stop the Lord from taking them. So we have to understand, when it's their time to go, it's their time to go, man. All right. And this is something that we have to endure, and it's truth. The Lord talked to Ezekiel. The Lord told Ezekiel that he was going to take his wife from him, man. And he told Ezekiel to man up when he took his wife from him. So this is something that we have to go through, and it's truth. If we lose somebody, just understand you're going to see them again. All right, the next kingdom to come. Let's go to Ezekiel 24 and 15. Also, the word of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai came unto me, saying, all right, this is when the Lord was talking to Ezekiel about when he was going to take his wife from him. And he told Ezekiel to man up. Ezekiel 24 and 15. Also, the word of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai came unto me, saying, verse 16, Son of man, behold, I have taken away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. And that's talking about his wife, Ezekiel's wife. All right. So the Lord was like, the Lord was basically like, I'm going to take your wife from you, Ezekiel, and don't you cry about it. That's what the Lord was talking to Ezekiel. Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai is not that's more proof that the Lord is a very, very austere man, very austere, very serious. So the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, the Lord was talking to Ezekiel, and he was like, I'm going to take your wife from you, Ezekiel, and don't cry about it. Ezekiel 24 and 16, Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke. That's Ezekiel talking about Ezekiel's wife. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep. Right. Don't cry about it. He was like, don't cry about it. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep. Weeping goes back to crying. Weeping and mourning go back to crying. All right. Let's look that word up. Mourn and weep, right? Mourning, the same thing with weep. So when you look up that word mourn, it goes back to the same thing, crying.
Strong's H5594. Safad.
Okay. It said, see? Check this out. Mourn. Wail. It says wail. What's wailing? Wailing is the same thing with crying. See? To wail, lament, mourn. You see? And when you go back, when you look up that word weep, we already know what weep is, right? Weep comes from here.
Strong's H1058.
Baka. So the definition of weep is baka, which means sore with tears. So cry with tears. See? To weep, bewail, cry, shed tears. See? So the Lord was basically like, he said Ezekiel, he said, look, I'm going to take your wife from you. Don't cry about it. Man up. See? So that proves that the Lord is a very austere man. And he was basically talking, he was like Ezekiel, don't cry about it. When I take your wife from you. Because the Lord was letting them know, like, look, I'm going to take your wife from you. Don't cry about it. That's how we got to be in this truth. All right? When our loved ones get taken from us, of course we're going to be hurt. Because I'm not saying I'm tough. Because any of us brothers would be hurt if we lose any of our loved ones, But at the end of the day, if the Lord decrees that, we have to understand that it's the Lord the ones that decreed it, man. And he ultimately, at the end of the day, we're going to see them again. We're going to see them again. You got to put that in the back of your mind, because the time that we're entering into, we're going to lose a lot of people, man. A lot of close relatives, especially those that took the they took the poison. I can't say what it is because I got a warning for saying it last time. All right, from YouTube. So I got to be careful with my words. Those that took the poison and they're, all right, especially those of our family members that took the poison. A lot of them are going to drop dead as well, man. So we got to expect a lot of loved ones to drop, man. Especially the time we're entering into. So we just got to expect it. It's better to expect. It's better to be prepared than to not be prepared. We got to be prepared. So we got to prepare our minds spiritually and get our minds ready. Ezekiel 24:16. Son of man, behold, I take away from thee the desire of thine eyes with a stroke, with again Ezekiel's wife. Yet neither shalt thou mourn nor weep, neither shall thy tears run down, man. See, so the Lord was like, don't shed a tear, man. Don't cry about it. To Ezekiel, he was talking to Ezekiel when he said this. Verse 17: Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead, right? Because the scriptures speak about the dead are at rest, man. The people who die in our lives, they don't really die. They just pass on to the spiritual world. They're still alive. And I'm gonna get a precept. I'm gonna go into that on the next lesson. The people that die on this side, I lost a lot of people, man. I lost my brother. I lost my I had a cat on this side. I used to have a cat I used to love all the time. My cat passed away, on the spiritual world, man. They pass on to the spiritual world. So that's nothing to mourn about, nothing to cry about. They're okay at the end of the day. And we prove that through the Holy Scriptures. Forbear to cry, make no mourning for the dead. Right, don't cry for the dead, because they're at rest. They're in the spiritual world with Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Bind the tire of thine head upon thee, and put on thy shoes upon thy feet, and cover not thy lips, and eat not the bread of men. So, okay? And it says, so I spake unto the people in the morning, and at evening my wife died. So the Lord took Ezekiel's wife from him. All right? And I did in the morning as I was commanded. So Ezekiel followed exactly what the Lord wanted him to do. You see? He still followed the Lord's instructions, even though he lost his wife, man. That's the type of spirit we got to be in this truth. If we lose any of our loved ones, we still have to keep going on in this truth. We still got to keep moving on and preaching this word in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. It's better to preach this word and not give up than to be a man that basically gives up. You don't want to be a man that gives up and just cries all the time and say, oh my gosh, he's gone. What am I going to do? The Lord wants us to keep continuing, even if he takes a loved one from us, man. All right. He wants us to still continue in the work that we've been doing. And it's truth. All right. So you're going to get them back at the end of the day. So, why mourn for the dead when they're at rest? All right. So I speak unto the people. It's us. You got to also look at it this way, too. Those that die on this side are luckier. They're luckier than us because they don't have to deal with the suffering on this side. Okay, they're at rest. So I spake unto the people in the morning, and at an evening my wife died. So Ezekiel's wife died. The Lord took her to the spirit world, and I did in the morning as I was commanded. See, so Ezekiel still followed the Lord's instruction, even though the Lord took his wife from him. Very beautiful. That's how we have to be in this truth. If the Lord takes any of our loved ones, we still have to continue and push this word. Don't give up. Verse 19, and the people And this is when Ezekiel basically started to tell everybody else the same thing, that the Lord told him basically, when it happens to you, don't cry, man. When the Lord takes somebody from you, don't cry about it. So Ezekiel went down to tell everybody else the same thing. It's a very beautiful chapter. Ezekiel 24 and 19. And the people said unto me, wilt thou not tell us what these things are to us, that thou doest so? Then I answered, then the word of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai came unto me, saying, speak unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, God, behold, I will profane my sanctuary, excellency of your strength, and the desire of your eyes, and that which your soul pitieth, and your sons and your daughters, whom ye have left, shall fall by the sword, and ye shall do as I have done, yet shall not cover your lips, nor eat the bread of men. Okay, and your tires shall be upon your heads, and your shoes upon your feet, and ye shall not mourn nor weep, but ye shall pine away for your iniquities, and mourn one toward another. Thus Ezekiel is unto you a sign, according to all that he have done, shall ye do, and when this cometh, ye shall know that I am the Lord Yahweh Shem Shai, God. Very beautiful, and this whole chapter is beautiful. So this is when Ezekiel started telling everybody else, like, look, this happened to me. I lost my wife, and it's gonna happen to you, and don't mourn about it when it happens. That's the same thing the Lord told Ezekiel when we read up a verse. The Lord told Ezekiel, don't mourn, man. Don't cry when I take your wife from you, man. You know, he said, don't let your tears run down your eye, man. Don't cry about it. He said, be a man about it. Man up. You know. So the Lord was helping Ezekiel out, making him. He was really testing him, making him stronger. Because these tests make us stronger. That's why the Lord tests us. He makes us more of a man. All right, when we get tested. So it says. So basically, man, this is just a good example of what we have to go through as well, and it's truth. Just like Ezekiel lost it, the Lord told him he was going to take his wife from him. And the same thing applies to us today. Okay, and if the Lord takes any of our loved ones, we still have to continue and do what He wants us to do, what He's commanded us to do. All right, what have we been doing? So, Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. I just wanted to get that out there. Lord's will, this lesson has been edifying to the sheep of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. So this is the death of Ezekiel's wife, man. And this is something that we have to go through, losing loved ones. Okay, especially the dark, sinister times that we're approaching now. The days are getting eviler, so we just got to expect to lose loved ones around us, man. But at the end of the day, we know that we're going to get them back in the kingdom, man. All right. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakah Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. Shalom.